Welcome and good evening to Struggle to Success Season 2. This episode, we're going to be talking about relationships. It's going to be a conversation. We're going to have a frank and clear and open and honest conversation about relationships. Following on from last week, we felt like we didn't do the topic the justice and the respect it deserves. This show is brought to you by Legacy Foundation, Legacy Gala, sponsored by Pimpanzi, Eat of Eden, and also the Lottery Community Fund. So we thank those organizations for making this show possible. I would like to introduce myself, Marlon Morris, and my co-host. On my left is Basil Links, and he will introduce himself. Got two guests, Nina Greywood. Hello, good evening, Nina.
Hello.
And Raymond Banton. Good evening, Ray.
Good evening, man.
Online joining us are the two co-hosts, Deborah Robinson. Good evening, Deborah.
Evening, how are you, everyone? Evening.
And Kim Thompson. Hello, Kim.
Good evening, everybody.
And our resident, good evening, and our resident therapist, reflective thought coach, Scotty. Scotty, good evening, sir. Are you there? Good evening, Scotty. Is there a slight technical hitch? Okay, Scotty's probably going to turn his hand to something. He's probably making some cakes. But anyway.
Just while we're waiting for Scotty to come through, myself and Deborah will be alternating and asking the questions, just so everybody knows.
Yes, absolutely, Kim. All right, let me kick it off. This show is it's tribute to DMX. It's no secret that DMX spent most of his life in the public eye as a very talented artist, performing artist, rapper. He died last week, unfortunately. Rest in peace, DMX. But he grew into a phenomenon, but had many struggles. He struggled with his spiritual journey to God. Many conversations he had with the devil. He was very open about that. He struggled with relationships. In one of his songs, he names about 30 women that he was in a relationship with. He struggled with drugs. And for me, which I can relate to, his anger was very much a struggle for him. And, anger manifested in many violent acts throughout his career. But again, he was talented and gifted, and he's left a catalogue of music for us, and that will be part of his legacy. So we're going to really dedicate this show to DMX and people that can relate to some of his struggles as well. So, for people who don't know, my name is Marlon Morris. I've had 12 years working in all aspects of social and community care, from mental health, substance misuse, education, residential social work, youth offending. Then I left after 12 years and decided to go into my own self-employed business. And then I basically opened up a few venues, became a promoter, had a hospitality company, done a bit of this and a bit of that, hustling wise in terms of entrepreneurialism. And 20 years later, I'm fortunate enough to do what I want. And what I want more than anything is to kind of be of service to those people that are desiring to leave a legacy. So how we help people leave a legacy is by empowering them to find their purpose, help them to discover their path, place them around the right network of people, because there's a saying that says your network is your net worth. By placing them around the right network of people, we help them to discover their gifts and their talents and help them to be productive. help them to prosper, be in good health, and leave a legacy. So on that note, this show, we're talking about relationships, about self-care, healthcare, and wealth care. And we've got a couple of guests that we're going to allow to share their journey on how they had to find success, but talk about the ups and downs, the tribulations, the trials, the obstacles, challenges to get to that place of success. But before we do that, we're going to introduce our co-hosts. We'll start with yourself, Deborah. Just introduce yourself, who you are, what you do, and your contribution to that.
My name is Deborah Robinson. I have worked in education for 22 years. I'm a teacher of English, and I am also an assistant vice principal at an academy in Hackney. I do a lot of work with parents and young people within the community. When I say the community, I mean boroughs like Haringey, Hackney, and Enfield. I have delivered presentations on parenting. I've delivered presentations on education, academia, and just do lots of things that involve empowering the voiceless and empowering and encouraging groups of people within our own community to have a voice and assert their voice in order to navigate especially the education system, which I am extremely passionate about. And from September, my role changes and I will be working across the borough with head teachers to improve relationships with parents. And we're talking about the invisible parents who may not know how to access certain services that allow their children to achieve their full potential within school. So it's quite it will be quite a challenging task, but I'm still in education and ultimately still rooting for the voiceless to be heard. Thank you.
Congratulations on your new assignment, your new season, Deborah, because building relationships with parents is very, very, very important in our community, because a lot of parents need that support. So congratulations again. Kim, please come in and introduce yourself.
Hello, my name's Kim Thompson. I'm an advocate of supporting small businesses, entrepreneurs, improving relationships with parents, their children's families. I'm a qualified mentor and coach. I have my own business also. We unite establishments with Black-owned businesses, entrepreneurs, educational establishments, by collaborating and promoting and utilising services, basically empowering our Black community, creating economical growth and employment opportunities. I have group sessions. I have a team of over 15 life coaches, therapists, etc. I personally deal with trauma-related issues. And today, myself and Deborah are going to be firing some serious questions.
Thank you, Kim. Look, as a social entrepreneur, I'm very honored to be amongst such greatness and great ladies, skilled and talented. My dad always says, if you're the brightest in the bunch, it's not a good bunch. So I'm glad that there's other that are overshining me. So thank you, ladies. I'm going to pass on to my learned, bigger brother, entrepreneur, investor, businessman. Basil, please introduce yourself. So the floor is yours.
You said it all, man. Nothing more to say. Yeah, just glad to be here, and I'm looking forward to this week's show. So I'm a South London businessman, and I was here last season. I'm here again.
Thank you.
So I don't want to waste any more time talking about me, because I'm also looking forward to hearing Nina and Raymond. So, ladies, guests.
Thank you, Basil. Thank you. All right, so we're gonna kick it off.
Scotty's back in.
Scotty, I forgot about Scotty. Scotty, our resident therapist. Scotty, is he back from turning your hand to things? Scotty,
Yeah.
you start them cake, then, you know. You just a big curry mutton, butter bean, yeah, steamed veg. Can you hear?
I can hear you loud and clear. Can you hear me?
Stop, come
Can you
out and start counseling us.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
I introduced myself last week. I'm a psychotherapist, and these guys are running banter with me because I like to cook. And my son came and checked me today, and you know I had some big food cooking up, so I have to make sure that I provide for my children. He's a big man, but when he come check me, I like to make sure that we eat a food and we spend quality time and we talk about things. So that's what we're talking about today: relationships. So this is a relationship that I have with my son.
All right, Scotty. Thank you. Our resident therapist, reflective facilitator. I loved our debrief last week, and I'm looking forward to our debrief this week. Thank you. We're just going to have a family meeting. I remember when I was younger, my mum used to try and arrange family meetings. Nobody used to turn up. But it was a good idea. You know what I'm saying? So it's just a conference. Forget about the cameras, the studio. We're just gonna. I know Will. I know Nina. I'm fortunate to know most everybody here on the panel and in the studio. And big up to MediaNet, who have provided the studio and sponsored us. And I just want to start with you, Gary. Over the years, it's been what, like 20 years now. I was introduced to Raymond in one of his, I think it's one of his raves. I think it was one of them West End or City raves, and as a DJ, and everybody's talking about sweet vibes, sweet vibes, sweet vibes. I was thinking, them sweet vibes, and then when I see the man himself, I said, no wonder why they call him sweet vibes, because of sugar dumpling. They call them asthma pump. The guys the teddy bear. But I got to find that there's much more. Don't judge a book by its cover. There's much more. I found out he's in education, very high up in education. He's a governor in school, and more than a DJ, he was an entrepreneur, businessman, promoter. He's done a lot of iconic events over the last 30 years in hotels and in mansions, and he's getting ready to talk about, he's been talking about festivals and stuff like that. So it's just gone from strength to strength, and I love how you've always been relevant. I mean, as the decades have passed, and just want to talk about struggles to your success. Yeah, we know that you're successful. You can start wherever you want to start, but first I want to talk about you. Self-care first. I'm saying yourself, your path to discovering who you was, what you was going to do, your purpose, your path. Just tell us about who you are and start with yourself first.
Who I am? Who am I? I've worked in education, as Milo said, for about 30 years now. Different paths. I've worked as a youth worker. Between those times, I was a connections personal advisor, working with disadvantaged youth, working with youth with special education needs. I went after I come out of youth working, I signed up and went to be a local governor for a school, because I still want to get back to education, because once I come out of youth working, I still want to give something back, because my vision always on my 9-to-5 job, I always like working with young people. Yeah. So for me, it was giving back. You know what I mean? It was always a thing of giving back and trying to empower them and I didn't necessarily think there was someone that was there for me as a big brother, apart from the streets. So when you have the streets as a big brother, are
you the oldest?
I am the oldest. Mother brought up 3 of us, but when you're brought up in the environment that I'm brought up in, and I was brought up in, it's hard for a black boy to find something positive and someone positive who's going to lead you on a positive kind of way of life. You know what I'm saying to you? So we kind of struggled with that. Not saying that there wasn't good people around, but I necessarily didn't even probably take advantage of the good people who was around, because I was just maybe used to just going for things that excited me, things that everybody else, you know what I mean, whatever else the road said was favorable, and that was the in thing, you know what I mean? So for me, that was my way of trying to give back and trying to adjust that balance with young people. So that's been my job. I'm still in education now. So I've been, for the last 20 years, I've been working as a marketing manager for FE colleges and the university throughout that time. So that's just trying to publicize courses, get people on courses, adults, B2B, which is businesses, and also 16 to 18-year-olds and whatnot. And then the sound has been good to me as well. So I've been a DJ for 30 plus years, something like that anyway. And that's been a good journey. It's been good and bad. There's been bad and there's been good. At the end of the day, I'm probably where I am now. It's the point where I'm enjoying it. And when you're talking about purpose, I think for me, I've only really honed in on my purpose in the last few years. I've just been having, and I've always wanted to do stuff, but actually your purpose, why you're here, why you're...
How do you define purpose?
Things happen to you, innit? Things happen to you and they address your balance. You know, they cause you to think about your journey. They cause you to think about your life, how you impact on people, how people impact on you. You know what I mean? And what you want to be, your legacy. You know what I'm saying to you? So how do you want to leave that? So that's what happened with me. And that was kind of my journey up until now. You know what I'm saying to you? So that's where I am.
So you're Caribbean family?
Caribbean, yes.
Talk about your family and that.
Mum was from St. Catherine, Jamaica. She got brought over here when she was 18. My granddad was over here already. My granddad was kind of the man in my life. My dad wasn't really about. I think I met him twice. In fact, I met him. In fact, I can count the amount of times I've met him on just two hands throughout my entire life. So my granddad was the main person, but he was very old school. You know what I mean? He was like, you know, you do what I say kind of thing. But we had jokes. We did have fun time. We had beatings. But I did learn a lot from him. But he died when I was about 21 or 22. You know what I'm saying to you? So really, it's just been my mom, really, who's been the main focus of my life with my two brothers. I'm saying to you, so throughout my life. So that's kind of where I am with the family life kind of thing, you know what I mean? So always a mummy's boy too.
Mummy's boy.
Yeah, definitely.
Like myself, you know, I can relate to that, definitely. You come from a loving family, dad weren't about, but you had direction, you had focus, you was able to navigate some negative obstacles or minefields and find some kind of direction with working in education.
Yeah.
How old was you?
I think when I came, it was when I was about 20. I met upon my friend's sister was a youth worker.
20.
And yeah, so a few years before that, I was up and down. You know what I mean? I was working, but not anything I would say as something that I wanted to make a life out of. You know what I'm saying to you? So come to that point where I said to my friends, yeah, you know what, I really like youth work and I really want to get into that. You know what I mean? But that was the first thing. So then she gave me an in into her local youth club, helped me write my CV and everything else. And I went for the job and I got it. At the same time, I went for a job full-time up at Lambeth College up in Brixton. So it's Brixton College then. And I got that job as a media resources officer. And I'm saying to you, so that's kind of like, it's marketing, but it was the early days of marketing probably before that. So before that, I'd gone to South Thames College, so I'd done the course and everything else, and then I applied for that, and I got that. So that was around that time, around 2021, a kind of youth work and my 9 to 5 kind of vision started.
And that kept you like on course. That kept you in a certain trajectory for.
Yeah,
Did you ever come
and there's been rebounds. You know what I mean? It didn't keep me fully because I suppose when to be frank, when I was working at Lambeth College, it was too easy to Skype. Even though you're working from a 9 to 5, if you ain't got a good manager, you just, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And there's times that I used to be off. You know what I'm saying to you? So
that was it. So why did you Skype? We didn't really
because it's road again, isn't it? It's road again. Like your brethren comes at, yo, Ray, you can still do this. I'm off.
Yeah.
I'm off. Excited.
So what was you off to?
Can I ask a question, Raymond?
Off.
Come in, Kim. So,
Ray, just based on what you've just said, yeah, what did you have to look at within yourself to realise something had to change in regards to your finances, your relationship, maybe even to improve your health? But what did you do
at that time?
Yeah,
At
to
that
realise you've realised now something's got to change to better yourself. That kind of thing. So what did you do?
Reasons why I started youth work and I started work was a year before that. All right. Before that, I was doing some work. So I was doing parcel delivery. But the reasons why and before I did parcel delivery, what shook me up, I did 9 months on remand. You know what I'm saying to you?
Where?
I did 9 months on remand. So I went
What's remand for people that don't know?
Remand is young people's prison. So I was at Feltham.
Feltham don't sound like a young people's prison, right?
Yeah.
That sounds like a big man prison.
It was when I was young, so you was only there up until you were 21, and then.
So hold on a minute. This, because I've known you for a long time. I don't
share this. I don't share this with people. So this is something that.
This is very new.
So I did the 9 months on remand. So we went up for. I went to a case. In fact, a little story about that is that when they first charged me with whatever it was, where it was.
I can't believe Ray's committed a crime.
Anyway, no, I didn't. Actually, I didn't. I don't go
to the house.
Anyway, order it out. So when they charged me with it, they said to me, "Yeah, so we're committing you to the Old Bailey." This time, I've never been in trouble before. I'm like, we talking about Old Bailey? That's where proper criminals. I'm not proper criminal.
That's where Jack the Ripper goes.
Yeah, I'm not proper criminal. So then in the end, I went for bail. I'm thinking I ain't got no. They didn't even give me bail, And I couldn't believe it.
First offense.
My first.
It's not even an offense.
So for 6 months, so for 3 months of that, 3 or 4 months, I was in Feltham. Then I was 21, and then I went cool, and they shipped me back out, and then said, "Now you're going to Brixton because you're 21." I said, "Brixton." I said, "Wow," but that's a proper prison because Feltham is a young people's prison. Yeah. Brixton, no. You ain't taking me there. Yeah. You don't have the point, so you go there. So I was at Brixton prison. And I said, no, this is not. Anyway, I had the court day, not guilty. So then focusing on, when I come out of there now, it's just to focus on what I want to be properly. I mean, I need to let go. I mean, it wasn't really roads, because it was something to do with DJing while I went away. You know what I mean? It was just Nick did take my sound, you know what I mean? And it was just so the corruption.
Was you in the sound before that situation?
Yeah, I had my own sound
before even as a teenager.
Yeah. Even as a teenager, that was going into music. I got into music around 14 when my friend Tony introduced me to his brother Sam, which was Saxon. So when I heard the Saxon tapes and everything else, I was like, wow, DJs, music, that's what I want to be. So from that was always how I got into being a DJ. So that was I was do that anyway. You know what I mean?
Raymond, can I take you back ever so slightly? You talk about road and you talk about this kind of connection that you had with the road. Did you find a much more poignant relationship with people who were outside your home? Because you seem to have a really strong connection with road. Is that because those were your stronger relationships at the time? And if so, was that part of your learning ground in terms of you kind of moving through your journey and becoming the person? Because you seem to have found your purpose, you know, a little bit later on, or through different avenues.
Thank you. I think as a young, as a black male, young black male that's growing up in a family with just a mother, it's very hard. My mum wasn't, she got nothing to do with road. She was proper, who would put it, one of those middle class Jamaican families, you know what I mean? So even talking patois is not English, you know what I'm saying to you? So she was one of those ones. And she was always an advocate for us to go to school, learn, and everything else like that. But of course, when you're at school and you're around the elements that are there and some of your friends, because remember that you can have bad people who are still your friends, you know what I mean? And then you gravitate towards people as well who are popular within the school structure. And what's popular within the school structure, you probably might want to be a part of, because it seems like the place to be. Like everyone's around, that everyone thinks is happy. It's, you know, it's the right people to like be around. It wasn't like I was into anything. I wasn't into drugs or knives, crimes or gangs or anything. I just wanted to be around where I thought you needed to be around as a young black male. You know what I mean? And
because
couldn't give me that.
I understand, because I suppose our definition of the road growing up, what you might be a 60s child, 70s, I suppose our definition of what it meant to be on road then is very different to now. And so relationships established on the road almost kind of hone and build your character, if I'm reading that correctly.
I don't think it's really changed. I really don't think it's changed. Road then was the same as road now. You know, they highlight knife crime. There was knife crime was going on. You know, people going like it wasn't happening. It was. I was around knife crime from when I was 14, 15. Like my friends used to come in with big blades into school. Used to go carnival. When they used to go carnival, they used to go with blades. They used to go with big knives, and it's nothing new. It's always been there. You know what I mean? The rough house season it's always there, but it's just never. It's like never been addressed. You know, it's like being a youth worker in the 90s and being a youth worker now. Nothing has changed. Youth workers will still be moaning about the same lack of resources, the same lack of cohesion, everything. You know, people think it's got a little. Yeah, it might have got a little bit better, but it's crumbs. It's not really addressing the problem. You know, that we have in our community like that. So, you know, I see young people about, and I see myself in a lot of. There's a thin line between being right or wrong, especially on the street. You know, you could be around someone who's as bad as whatever, but because they're doing something and you're with them, and they might be a great friend to you, but because you're around them and they're doing something, because people don't see that, because they don't, when you're young, you don't see the reason why, if you're bad, but you're a great friend to me, why should I not have you as a friend? Because you treat me, you know, the way that I like to be treated. But then if he goes off and does something and you're around him, that thin line, you get brought over to that other side, and all of a sudden you get labeled like the same way. And it's hard, you know what I mean? And well, it was, you know, like for me, it was hard. I didn't have no bigger brothers. I didn't really have no extended family around me that had a lot of males at the time. I didn't really know my other side of the family like that.
So I suppose that's what I'm establishing here, that your male relationships were formed on the road, be they good, bad, or indifferent. That's where you formed your male relationships. Okay, that is interesting.
So can I ask you then, going back to when that 9 months when you was on remand, yeah, that experience changed your direction after you got not guilty, yeah. Up until that point, what was you clear about what you wanted to do, or was you still undecided?
Nah, I don't think young people are young. I mean, like, I was young still. I mean,
how old is you?
Who knows? Well, I was 18, 19, 20. Most young people don't even know what they want to do. Most people don't even know what they want to do until after, and until late 20s, mid 20s. The way that the institution is now, it does not put into you that you're supposed to define your purpose. It says it'd be happy for you to, like you should know your course, but it doesn't really put it into you. You know what I mean? Like when I talk to careers, when I look at like careers officers, if you look at what your career officer would have been back then, he didn't really care about what you were doing anyway. If they saw in you that you had potential to do something better than just being the stereotypical whatever black people were into at the time. You know what I mean? So for me, they didn't push that. They weren't pushing me. And I look at these young people now, and even when you look at them, you have to keep putting it in them that the quicker that you know where you want to be, the quicker that you can set your path to be there. But you got to really be pushing them. And if no one's pushing you, like 17, 18, 19, you're still wondering what to do.
Prison pushed you into making that decision to go into education?
I think it was because I had the right conversation at the right time.
With who?
With my brother and sister, yes. You know what I'm saying to you? So I said, yes, that's what I want to do. So let me do that.
What did your brother and sister say to you?
Well, it was what she was doing. Like she was in the youth club. So we used to go to the youth club anyway. You know what I mean? So we used to go around the youth club and say, you know what? She was very encouraging about taking up this, Ray, that you can still make this as part of your journey. You know what I mean? So for me, it was something, well, why not do that? I'm already got the other qualification that I was doing anyway at college, and I enjoy still being around younger people and so forth. You know what I mean? I wasn't really into business or tech, you know what I mean? Or I couldn't really turn my hand to things, you know what I mean? On whether that be an engineering or woodwork or like mechanical, that wasn't really me. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of why I kind of chose that journey. I kind of fell into it on default, really.
What's your health? Because we talked about yourself. Now moving into before the ladies come in and ask what they need to ask, your health. How did that look like going through them 9 months? In terms of your mental health, your physical health, your spiritual health. Was it helped or hindered because of that situation? You know what I'm saying? And how did it affect you or benefit you?
I was lucky when I went into remand. I went in there, my co-defendant and me was together. So I had somebody that I knew. I don't know how it would have been for me if I'd went in there on my own. That would have been different. And we managed to make a lot of friendships in there. So there was a lot of Brixton man, there was some North man in there that we kind of was all right with, you know what I mean? So we kind of built up a little thing. So I was okay. I didn't struggle in there. I just did what most black brothers just do. Like gym was the favorite thing, you know what I mean? You just go gym and a bit of football. But it wasn't really, it was a bad experience in terms I was there, but it wasn't, I didn't have any worse experience because I was there. If you know what I'm saying to you, it was, the fact that you do lose your liberty, you do use your, you can't get up and do whatever that you want to do. You kind of find out who's for you and who's not for you. You see the worry and the struggles that your mum goes through for you, because obviously you're in prison, like, what's happened to her, and you wouldn't want to put her through that again. You know what I'm saying to you? And
after all of that, you got not guilty.
Yeah, but I knew I was getting that. I knew I was not getting that before. I was because I knew that there was nothing there for them to get me guilty on. Yeah. And like the way the case was set, they were just doing whatever that they would, they were just taking me to take me in sec, you know what I mean? So
we've still got a bit more time with you. We've got about another 5 more minutes. Ladies, you want to come in and ask a couple of more?
Again, Nina, can I get you to introduce yourself? And the question I'm going to fire at you, based on the back of what Ray has just shared with us, I'd like you to, after you've introduced yourself, recall an important goal that you were set in the past, and let us know what strategies you used to achieve it, what was successful and what was not successful. Over to you.
Okay, my name is Nina Greywood. I'm a hairdresser. I run a salon in North London along with my business partner, Audrey Remy. We've been established for over 20 years now. I've been doing hairdressing for over 30 years. Your question, Kim, a goal that I've set for
A
myself and
goal
what.
like you set apart, yeah, based on what I mean, you're an entrepreneur, you're a business that's been going for the last 20 years. We've been going through COVID now, so a lot of people have had to, some businesses have folded as a result of COVID. How have you adapted yourself? So tell us your success story.
So basically, the salon that we had it for 21 years, and we had no intentions of leaving that salon. We had no intentions of downsizing, anything like that when COVID first hit. But then our lease was due to expire anyway, and because of the financial uncertainty that we're all facing right now, it just didn't make any sense to keep that building. So it was a blessing and a curse at the same time, I suppose. The fact that the lease was coming to an end, it's like, okay, let's cut our losses. And that's what we decided to do, and downsize totally. And it's been a weight off my mind, and I know for sure it's been a weight off Audrey's mind. So that's what we did, and we're just moving forward with that. I'm getting on in life. I was saying to Ray, I'm on the way down the hill, innit? So I don't want to be doing that hard slog, standing on my feet for 12 hours. Can't go to Marlon's dance, can't go to Raymond's dance, can't go to Bradley. I'm on my feet all day. People think that hairdressing is an easy thing. People think that me and Audrey just stand up there, fling two curling people's head and take loads of money. It's not like that. I've got corns on every toe. It's hard.
Nina, can I ask you? Nina, can I ask you how you would define self-love and what it means to be in a relationship with yourself? Because you talk about you talk about a hard slog, and in all your years as a businesswoman, have you actually found the time to have a relationship with yourself? You may want to start at the beginning in terms of how you might define self-love.
Do you know what? That's a really interesting question, because I think I've only started to love myself recently. I think before that, I didn't love myself. You know what I mean? I did whatever I wanted to, but that doesn't mean that I love myself. Do you get what I mean? Because some of the stuff that you're doing, you don't do if you love yourself, innit? But I think now that I've become less of a people pleaser and more of a Nina pleaser, I think I've started to love myself more, because I understand myself and I know myself, and other people's opinions of me don't matter as much. You know what I mean? Growing up, they used to. I constantly wanted to feel validated, and I think that stems from being in foster care, coming from an abusive parent. So you're constantly looking for someone to make you feel valid. So I'd get myself into relationships with people that I've got no business being in relationships with. I'd find myself in situations that I've got no business getting myself into. But that's because I don't think, number one, I didn't have that grounding. Yeah, and number two, because I wasn't in love with myself. Now, I love me, innit? Nobody can love me more than I love me.
That's fantastic. And how important is it as a Black woman to actually find yourself? And did you find that finding yourself on your way to who you are now was a struggle? Was that a struggle? Do you want to elaborate more in terms of your background and your possible turbulent relationships that you've had in the journey to this self-love?
Sorry,
Okay.
Nina, before you go, there's some feedback. Could someone turn off whatever device they've got? Because there's a lot of feedback I'm getting. If anybody's got any devices, please turn it off. Thank you. Go ahead, Nina.
No problem. I think my beginnings are not standard beginnings. So not everyone knows my background, or not everyone knows my story. Do you know what I mean? So I was put into foster care when I was 3 months old. I was raised in a white foster care family who I love very dearly. I called a white woman mum for the first 8 years of my life. I called a white guy dad for the first 4 years of my life. All my cousins, uncles, everybody was white. I only ate rice for the first time when I was about 5. Do you know what I mean? Normally rice is in rice pudding. I didn't know nothing about curry goat and all them things. That's totally foreign to my upbringing, completely foreign. And then when I went to go and live with my mum, I was 8 years old. I knew who my mum was, but she wasn't my mum as far as I was concerned. She was just this black woman that used to come and plait my hair really tight and make me cry. And then my foster mum would undo it. And I'd go to school with 2 bunches for 3 weeks, my hair picky till you can't see my parting. But that was my life, innit? She didn't comb my hair because I didn't want her to. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, that was who I was. And then getting taken from that environment and then put into an African environment was a complete shock to my system, a total change. Do you know what I mean? Now I'm having to call people auntie and uncle that are the same color as me, but I don't know you from nowhere. I didn't grow with you. I don't speak your language. I can barely understand what you're saying. Do you get what I mean? I'm now being introduced to foods that I've never eaten before and I don't want to eat. Do you get what I mean? I've got what's deemed as a cocky attitude because I'll answer back. Well, I was allowed to answer back before. Do you know what I mean? I'd never experienced violence before I went to go and live with my mum, and all of a sudden, you know, if I don't do something right, I'm getting beaten. Like, that was foreign to me. My foster mum used to threaten me with the back scratcher. So she'd say to me, right, go upstairs and get it. So you'd go upstairs and get it, but she's never actually going to use it on you. This black woman was using weapons of mass destruction, slippers, curtain rail, anything that she could get her hand on. Do you get what I mean? And I was thrown into this environment. And I was lost. I was completely out of my depth, and there was no one to come and save me. I saw my foster mum twice before she died. So she died when I was 10. So from the time I was 8 until the time she passed away, I only saw her twice. And then when she died, it was like I fell down a rabbit hole because, like, I'm stuck here forever now. Do you get what I mean? At least when my foster mom was alive, there was hope that one day she's going to come back and save me from this crazy black savage. But now...
Who was the black savage?
My mum. Do you know what I mean? But now there's no one to save me. Do you know what I mean? I'm stuck here forever. And it was traumatic. And it took me a long time to find myself. And like I said, coming from a totally white environment, I lived in Barking, Essex. I was one of only 2 black people in my school. And even though I knew that I was different, do you know what I mean? I never knew that I was black.
That's interesting that you didn't have a relationship with your mom, but you had a relationship with your foster parent who was white.
Of course, because she raised me. The thing is, I think people misunderstand. Like, you can put a black child with a white family and they can still love it just the same. Do you know what I mean? I love my foster mum just as much as you love your mum. Do you get what I mean? Because she was my mum. She was the person that I ran to if I scratched my knee. She was the person that cooked my meals. She was the person that bathed me. She raised me. I didn't know anything else. Do you get what I mean?
Can I ask you a question? When did it dawn on you? When did you come at what age the realization that actually I'm a black girl, and for some people they see color, and now I need to see myself like others. Some see me. What age were you?
I think I was in my 20s.
Wow. And what was that experience, if you don't mind?
I think that in my 20s, I saw myself as the world. I began to see myself as the world saw me, as opposed to how my foster mother had seen me or how I had even seen myself. Up until that point, obviously, I knew that I was a black woman. Do you get what I mean? But I didn't have to act black or think black. I just thought like Nina. Do you get what I mean? But I think as growing up, being around black people, having a black family, having black boyfriends, being in a black environment, it's changed my mindset a little. But when growing up, it wasn't like that for me. It just wasn't. I had to get black. Do you get what I mean? Most of us were born black, innit? We're born into a black family, we're black environment, black surroundings, black. You know, it wasn't like that for me.
I remember being about 6 years old, going to the park with some of my friends, black and white, and I had my brother was with me and a couple of other black guys. and a car slowing down, winding down the window and saying, "Black bastards." Yeah. And I was like, who is he talking to? Like, I didn't even see color at that stage. And then I said to the older guys that was there, told them to F off and shouted back at them. And I said to them, well, they're talking to us. And one of the guys said, yeah, of course they were talking to us. Why did they say that? Oh, because you're black. Look at your skin. And at that point, from that point on, I realized that
you were different.
Not just so much that I was different, but that color was such a significant thing, because some people just gonna hate you for the color that you were.
But that's the thing. I thought color was a significant thing for other people. It wasn't a significant thing for me. It was something that affected them out there. Do you know what I mean? I remember an occasion when my mum came to visit, and she was visibly upset. Something had happened to her. The same sort of experience as you'd had. Like I said, we was in Barking, Essex. The black people weren't coming to Barking, Essex in the 70s, yeah? So my mum must have got off the bus or train, however it was that she got there, and she got abused on the road. So I remember being in the kitchen and hearing the story when she was telling Mummy Bell about what had happened to her. Do you know what I mean? And I remember feeling sorry for her, as like, because she'd experienced that, but not like, oh my God, that could happen to me, because I wasn't looking at myself the same as her. Do you get what I mean? Even though we were the same color, I didn't see her as my mum, so it didn't affect me. Does that answer your question, Kim?
Yes,
or was
it
it
is.
Does it?
Thank you very much for sharing. Scotty, would you like to elaborate on what's just been said, backing off from where Ray spoke and Nina? Kind of elaborate. You know, it's sometimes difficult for past experiences to form relationship with new people. So just think about an example of how you've had to cope with such a situation, and how you have overcome those kind of obstacles.
Well, two things really. I think what Ray spoke about and Nina, this is bedded in attachment theory. So Ray was talking about that male attachment that he had to figures on the road. Nina was talking about her attachment to her mum, this lady who she saw no different. So it resonated with me how both of these stories, the relationship that young people form from a really early age to those key people that provide guidance, inspiration, that model behavior. There's a movie out called Farming. When Nina was talking, I could just see that movie being replayed in my head when she's talking about, I could see my mum as this black lady, but I didn't actually think I was black. And there was a scene in Farming where the young man that grew up in exactly the same kind of situation was attacking other black people because he was with the white friends. So that was interesting for me. So yeah, it's insightful how your past experience can shape you and shape your patterns of relating into terms of how you relate to people in relationships. So that's your personal relationships and so forth. So yeah, it was helpful hearing Ray and Nina talk about their experiences. And I was just here, some of the stuff that Ray said brought me back to certain places around attachment to people in our community. So the community that I grew up in Northwest London, very similar to Ray over South London, where you had people that they were good people, but they just did bad things. But on Maslow's hierarchy of need, they met my needs. They made me feel loved. They made me feel safe. They made me feel protective. So that's basic human attachment. So if someone is giving me that and they're meeting 80% of my needs, if they do 10% of something wrong, i.e. carry a knife, well, you know what? They meet 80% of my needs. So that 10% that they're doing wrong, I'm not really going to watch that because I get most of my needs met from that group. Okay. So it was interesting hearing that and how both of Ray and Nina, they talked about things that shaped them, that really they had to reflect on themselves. So what Nina said, it came to a point, I didn't really start businessing about what people thought of me. So in counseling, we call that external logs of evaluation, where you're more worried about external forces and how that influences you. When you get into your internal locus of evaluation, you're operating from your core. You're operating from, this is where I am. This is who I believe I am. So when Ray was talking about, actually, I wanted to do something, and I started to believe in myself. And that comment that you made, and I'm not being disrespectful to men, but I don't think most men get to that point till a bit later on in life, where we kind of know a little bit more about what we want to achieve. I do find that, and this is not a sexist comment, I do find that women tend to mature a little bit more. And in my day job, we have those conversations. So it was really interesting just hearing both of them talking about their journey. And I know that there is so much more. I mean, we could literally have sat down and listened to Ray for an hour and a half. We could have listened to Nina for an hour and a half and just had a dance with their story. And we haven't even managed to hear Basil. And I think Basil is such a, I met him last week. I think he's quite an inspirational person. Yeah. So I'm not going to hug up the floor. It was interesting, Ray and Nina, just hearing little snippets of your story. And I just want to say thank you. And that's a therapist. It just reinforces some of the thinking that I have with cases that I work with now, how important attachment is from a really early age. That attachment that you form with a human being can shape all of your relationships going forward. So thank you for sharing.
Can I ask you a question?
Ray, Nina, Scotty.
1 second.
Thank you for sharing. Marla, I'm going to hand it over to you, Marla. Go on.
Yeah, 1 second, Ray. Thank you, Kim.
What I was going to ask, you know, both of you said, there was a point where you cared about what people thought. And then there was a point where you thought, you know what, I've got to do me. Yeah. But as you get more established, this question's for both of you, but I'll put it to Ray first. As you get more established, you develop a persona, you develop a reputation. More so, you're like a role model. Now, at some point, you have to own that, because you know people are looking up, people are watching your, what you do. How do you deal with that in terms of now doing you, whatever you is, but actually owning the fact that as a role model, you do have a responsibility? And how does that conflict with what, who you are? Or do you just merge into the same one in the same?
I know. I think it's always been difficult for me anyway. Mainly because when I talk about the holiday, I've never sat down with my son and had that conversation. I think he knows about it, but we've never had that conversation.
Yeah.
I have conversations with him about being on the right road. I don't have a conversation about what Dad did or how Dad did or how it felt at the time. I don't have a conversation. So I've always kind of tried to be a role model, but at the same time, maybe the best way to be the role model was to just tell your truth at the time. But I've never felt in a place that I could do that kind of thing. So I've always hid that. When I got older, it was just the fact of the matter is, again, I say again, when you look at, when did I become a man? That's the interesting question. You know what I'm saying to you? I don't, in this society, they say you become a man at 18. I would disagree with that all day long. You know what I mean? I don't think you've done enough of life yet to be a man at 18, but yet they give you that title and make you feel like a man. But like you're not. If you look into some of the teachings that our African culture do, you're not a man until you reach 40. 40 is when you're actually a man. You know what I'm saying to you? And that's probably when they think that you've had enough of life, you had those experiences to now make better judgments on any decision or the time and place you are. So I think I struggled with that. And then when you get into when I'm doing both sides of it, being like you're doing the 9 to 5 and then you're doing the DJ thing is kind of successful. You're getting the attention, you know what I'm saying to you, your name's been talked about, you know what I mean? You're some in good and some in a bad way. You're on that kind of stage, innit? And I've never felt comfortable with that anyway. I've never felt you had to adapt to that.
But you feel comfortable now, would you say?
I feel more comfortable now, yeah. But then I had, for me, like growing up, I have a stammer. I had spots, so I was just hiding. I don't even know why I felt to do the DJ thing in the first place. I was passionate about it, but I don't know why I felt to do it, because everything about it is appearance, isn't it? Yeah. And if you're not comfortable with your appearance, so everything was about force. I was always forcing myself to say, no, but you can do this, but you can do that. But I wasn't actually 100% comfortable with that. You get me? So I don't think I've really put everything together, as I said, until like the past few years, 4 or 5 years, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? Where I'm comfortable, and I'm still struggling with certain bits. Don't anybody out there think just because I'm here posting on Instagram and going on like I'm Mr. Happy Do Lally that everything's fine? It isn't. You know what I'm saying to you? Life doesn't work that way. You know what I'm saying to you? People think it does, but it just doesn't. So you still are trying to get to that place that you want to be, the best person that you can be for you now. Because for most of my life, you're trying to do it for everybody else. Trying to please everybody else, not knowing if you please yourself first. If you're that kind of person, by pleasing yourself, you will automatically please people around you. Because if you're pleasing yourself in the right way, you're making yourself happy, you know what I mean? You're doing the right things, that goes out to people around you, you know what I mean? So you spread that love, you know what I mean? You spread that care, that attention and everything that you should be doing. So it's not so much forced, you know what I mean? It's not so much from a place that you're trying to impress others. Now, I ain't trying to impress anybody, you know what I mean? I'm trying to do for me, for what I want to be and for how I want to be happy and to give things back. Because I know by giving things back, you will get. Yeah. Even if it doesn't come direct, I could give something to you. It might not even come from you back. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's my thing now. That's my thing. So that's how I live my life now. You know what I mean? And how I be. So it's you know, you just do it. Like, I don't know. It's difficult. It's difficult. Life is difficult because there's no manual. You know what I mean? There ain't no manual on it. And you look at it and you look at people's journey and you think, oh, I want that. Like people think, like, I want to get a house. You don't look at how hard the person worked to get a house. You know what I mean? And you don't look at you're 20, that person got it at 35. You want it now. That person got his house at 35. You know what I'm saying to you? So he's put in work to that. You still got a bit of time to go, but I want it now. You know what I mean? No one gives you that kind of mind. If you ain't got that structure around you, that's why the networking thing is so important. Because to me now, especially, your network is your worth. You know what I'm saying to you? If you're around the right people, they will elevate you to a certain place. You know what I'm saying to you? By being positive, by being people you can lean on for the right advice, the kind of right guidance. You don't have them things in place and it's up and down. Shit advice, shit guidance. You know what I'm saying to you? Puts you in a place that, you know, it puts you further down the back of the road with everybody else, where everybody else is, you know, that the crab in a barrel scenario. You know what I'm saying to you? So, you know, you just try and move from there. And I'm just trying to move, you know what I mean? I'm just trying to move from there. For me, I'm happy with me at the moment. Things I need to address, yes, but I'm happy on the journey. But as I said, I don't think I got there yet, Basil, but I'm work in progress.
So in terms of your bucket list, how far have you got through your bucket list on a percentage scale? You still got loads of objectives, loads of things, or
I reckon I'm about 75, 80%.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah, that's really good. Can I jump in and ask a question to you both, Nina and yourself? On your journey to success, was there any health obstacles or any health challenges that you had to experience, overcome, or still dealing with that you could share to help people protect their mental health and their well-being?
Okay, I'll answer that one. So on my road to success, which I'm very much still on the road because I'm not there. And I just want to answer, I know it was directed at both of us, but what Raymond said about the fact that he's like 75% in on his bucket list. You're good. I'm about 2% in.
You say that.
I'm sitting here listening like, really?
But you say that, but look at your track record, because sometimes you're doing stuff and you're doing it automatically, and other people are recognizing it, but you're just thinking to yourself, it's just another day, at work. Yeah. So
I've got to agree with the guys there, Nina. Do not put yourself down because you've been where certain people ain't never been at all. So
I get that, and I thank you for that. But for me, in terms of bucket list, for me, a bucket list is a list of things that you have still yet to achieve. So you've made this plan, like, right, I want to do this, and this in my life, and I'll stick to what I said. I'm nowhere near 75% in. Do you get what I mean? And I don't think.
Can I just say something? For 20 odd years, you've owned your own business. Yeah.
This is what I'm talking about.
Nothing is better alone than owning your own business.
Absolutely.
You working your own business is where I wish I'd been. How many years ago? Yeah, I got this. The sound is something different. But if I'd taken that as a 9 to 5, cool. And I so wish I cheated. Own your own stuff. It's so important. And I'm saying to you, so you're way past that 2%.
Do you know what I think with the salon? And this might sound really silly, but I've never considered myself a business owner. I know that sounds dumb, but it's not like that. Do you get what I mean? I never set out with a plan.
But it is like that.
It is like that, but it isn't like that. So I don't want to, the thing is, I don't want to give the impression like I've really got it together and I've had my life planned out, mapped out since I was a teenager, and I knew that this was what I was going to do, and then I went and I achieved it. Because that's not how it happened. Everything that's happened to me, I've sort of fallen into it. Everything. Do you get what I mean? I didn't want to be a hairdresser. I thought it was easy.
But you know what?
Nina, isn't this part of your ability or inability to just accept that you are a great individual? Isn't this part of your self-love journey? That here we are saying, not trying to big you up superficially, but actually just commend your efforts and commend your journey. But there you are, almost being so humble and pleasantly humble that you kind of push back the applause that people are giving you. So isn't that, again, even when before the show started, Marla said, "Oh, you look nice, Deborah," and now I'm like, "Oh, really? Is this all the self-love whereby we cannot just accept that we've come so far and just say thank you"? You almost sound apologetic for your success. You almost sound apologetic for your success and your triumphs.
Do you know what? I don't want to come like that, but I don't want to. I really don't want to give the impression that I set out to do it, because I didn't. You know what I mean?
I get it. Naomi's just put in the chat, imposter syndrome. You are where you are supposed to be because you have worked hard. Naomi Donald has just commented in the post in the chat. She's just said imposter syndrome, and I get that. Is that me they're talking about? Am I supposed to be here?
Yeah, because I feel like I'm bored.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I get it.
Do you know something?
Remember, you have to learn to embrace your achievements.
And in real terms, 95% of businesses that start up fail. Even, look how many people started Sound back in the day. How many of them are still doing it now successfully, sustainably, just like your business? So there is a lot of rightful accolade that's attached to what you're doing. But how do you cope now? Because I know you are a role model, you're an influencer. And by virtue of being an influencer, you've got people that are listening to what you have to say.
Millions of people.
Yeah. So how do you sort of reconcile that?
I don't. I find it really uncomfortable. Honestly, I find it really uncomfortable if I actually think about it. And I was talking to Marlo this morning before I did my Facebook Live. So normally I do a Facebook Live. Well, not even normally. It's really sporadic. I'll do it when I feel like it. So for the past few days, and Deborah will testify to this, so I've been on a Facebook Live rant. I've been on one. And normally I can turn on my phone and speak to the camera and not feel no way. There could be 10 people watching. There could be 10,000 people watching. I'm not shy like that. I'm not bothered by that kind of stuff. It doesn't get me like that. But ever since last night, I've just been like, I don't know, anxious, nervous, filled with anxiety. Are they going to like me? Is what I'm going to say interesting? Is what I'm going to say funny? Where normally I don't care. I'm saying what I want. So if you listen or you don't, do you know what I mean? But this morning, it bothered me to the point where I cut my live because I was talking and I don't know how many people were watching, but they were just doing that. They were watching. So normally I'm reading the comments and we're having a conversation. I'm not just talking to myself or just talking to, I'm not talking to an audience. Do you get what I mean? But this morning it felt like that. And when it felt like that, I didn't feel comfortable doing it. And that was the first time that I've felt that I've got a responsibility to the people that are actually watching me. Okay. Whereas normally I'm just Nina in it, I'm just chatting, and who likes it, who doesn't. But then now or this morning, should I say, it felt really uncomfortable. I didn't like the fact that I've got people hanging on my every word. I didn't like it.
Well, let me tell you something, Nina. You are amazing. Not many people have hairdressers that last for 20 years. Do you understand? You're amazing and you're inspirational to a lot of young people, middle-aged people, old people. So I want you to embrace that. What I want to ask you, looking back at your younger self, and this is for others that have come from like a similar circumstances, that kind of thing, faced by yourself, what would you say to people that are just setting out, younger people? What would you say to your younger self?
What would I say to my younger self? I think if I could go back and talk to a younger Nina, I'd be less eager to please. Do you get what I mean? I think that I spent a lot of my youth, not even a lot of my youth, I spent up until last year, trying to please other people or trying to get people to like me or trying to be accepted. Do you get what I mean? Because I was constantly up against the fact that my voice is deep and I sound aggressive and my face is push up. Do you get what I mean? So you're constantly trying to show the world that I'm not Raymond. I don't walk around looking moany all the time. So, moany, Raymond, listen, don't be fooled by the pretty boy looks. This man's face is pushed up. I remember, I knew about Raymond. We're stupid with me, but I'm going to tell you about how me and Raymond first met. I don't know if Raymond remembers this, but I told him about himself. So it was when he used to be up in the city down by Liverpool Street, you were playing out them times. Mm-hmm. And that's when the sweet vibes, that's when he really thought he was that guy, innit? So I never spoke to Raymond at all. Because I'm on the wrong end of the color spectrum. So when we it's true. So we was in St. Lucia and we was at the Blue and we were queuing up for breakfast. So now Mr. Soundman wants to talk to the minions, isn't it?
I don't know Scotty's smiling so much.
Mr. Soundman wants to talk to the minions, but I've always seen him as being this aloof, don't chat to nobody brother. So when I'm in the queue waiting for my planting and he wants to turn around and say hello, I'm like, oh now you want to talk to me. But before that I didn't chat to Raymond. And since then I've come to realize that just because his face is push up, that's not a reflection on his character. And I hope that he's come to realize that it's the same for me. I'm not like that. But I've spent so much of my time trying to show people that I'm not actually what I look like. So just because I speak fast and my voice is deep and I'm very animated and whatever, I'm not this aggressive, horrible person. So I found that I'm having to overcompensate. But now I think I've come, and it's taken me to the point where I'm almost 50 to realize, like, if you don't like it, that's your business. And I had to get comfortable with myself to say that, because before that I was too busy trying to please people. I was too busy trying to make you like me, make you like me. And then I wasn't liking myself. you get what I mean? Everyone's gone home happy because they're off the Nina
How
bus.
did that affect your health? And going back to the original question, it's about
Going back to
well, your
mental
struggle.
health, my dysfunction.
Your health, your
So-
physical health. Has your health been affected or helped on your road to success?
My mental health took a massive kick in, but then I think that the trauma of leaving foster care and not being helped on that process, being thrown into a family that you don't know or even recognize yourself in, then you have to find yourself. And when you've got no one to guide you to do that, like Raymond went to the streets, I went to the streets. Do you know what I mean? So I found affection that I wasn't getting from my mum or my stepdad. I found that in guys. Do you get what I mean? So I've dated people that I've got no business dating. Do you get what I mean? I found myself in relationships that I've had no business being in, but I didn't have the tools to deal with those relationships. Do you get what I mean? Because I wasn't nurtured like that. Do you get what I mean? I think, like I said, I didn't grow in a black family, so there's things that I just didn't understand. There's things that I just didn't get. Do you get what I mean? And there's behaviors that I've adopted that are inherent in me because of the way that I've brought up, but might not be pleasing to a black guy. Do you get what I mean? So there was lots of different things, lots of different struggles. Do you get what I mean? And then I've dabbled with alcohol, I've dabbled with drugs, I've dabbled with just things to try and lessen that emptiness or that pain. Do you get what I mean? So yeah,
Spiritual struggle. Spiritual.
I battled spiritually all the time. I got saved when I was 15 because I thought it was a good idea.
And then saved, what do you mean?
I gave my life to Christ when I was 15. So I accepted him as my Lord and Savior when I was 15. And then I think, but that was because the woman that I was working in a salon called Tango in Tottenham. And the woman that I was working for was a really, really devout Christian. And as much as I believed in God, again, I was trying to please her. So if I didn't come to church on Sunday, she's going to be upset with me when I go to work on Tuesday. So I'm going to church to please her. Do you get what I mean? I'm reading my Bible because I know she's going to ask me a question on it. So I'm doing it to please her. So I don't think I really had a relationship with God for myself until...
This is what happens when you're people pleasing. It's almost like you lose yourself. You forget how
Exactly.
to yourself.
Exactly. So I think in all of my Christian life, like I said, I gave my life to Christ when I was 15. I got baptized when I was 25. But even when I got baptized at 25, no one flung me in the water, but I do feel like I was coerced into it. It was like it was the next thing to do. So Nina, when are you gonna? Nina, when are you gonna? Nina, when are you gonna? And I think because my friend and business partner Audrey was doing it, I was like, okay. So I got baptized. Do you get what I mean? Don't misunderstand. I still had a relationship with God and I still had my faith. But was my faith as strong as maybe it should have been? No, because I think I was doing it to please my pastor, first lady, whatever. Do you get what I mean? I don't think it was about me. And like I said, my spiritual life or my spiritual relationship is only now starting to fulfill me. Do you get what I mean?
Nina, can I ask you a question? This question is for both you and Ray. Given where you both are in your life and you are at different places, where would you say you feel your most comfortable, authentic self? I might misinterpret the presentations of both of you. Definitely the breakfast blues over the lockdown has, I think, shown me a different side of Raymond, because the Raymond that you describe in the dances, that's who I used to see and walk past and just, you know, but I think I only walked past because it was just, you know, he was walking on water with his Prada shoes and I'm digressing. Right, but he looked very comfortable behind that turntable and playing music and just interacting with the virtual chat room. But that might not be his most comfortable space. And actually, Nina, you look your most comfortable and your most authentic self when you're interacting with the chat but that might not be. So I might have misread both of those places and settings. Where do you feel your most authentic self? Where is that safe space?
For me, I think you're right, Deborah. I am most comfortable when I'm in that setting. I can talk all day, every day, and feel no way. Do you know what I mean? And even when I'm in the salon, it's like I'm on stage. So I'm standing behind that chair and I'm doing that client, but I'm talking to everybody that's in the salon. And it's not, and the thing is, it's not because I'm an attention seeker and I like to be the center of attention. It's just because I've got to say it's the most interesting.
Really?
Yeah. And I know that about myself, and everyone else knows it. And I don't
Shakespeare said that life is a stage and we are mere actors.
Absolutely.
And I actually get that. So maybe this is a paradoxical question. Where do we feel our safest and most authentic space? And our most authentic self? I don't know. I'm throwing that over to you, Raymond. Where do you feel your most authentic self? Is it in the dance, standing up and not dancing, even though the baddest music is playing, but you're not dancing? Do you?
No,
Ray dances.
Raymond actually got any legs.
Why are you watching something?
Raymond dances. I'm gonna pause thing. Raymond dances.
This is serious.
Raymond does dance. I've been fortunate to be to a few venues where he's not on the bill, where he's not the person that's playing the music.
Scotty, did you actually see Raymond's legs though? Or did you just see him moving from side to
I'm
side?
just telling you, when I've been out with Ray and he hasn't been on the bill, you know, like when you guys are talking, something came to my mind, and it's like alter egos. We all have different egos, different alter egos. So behind the set, this is Ray's ego.
He's working.
In front of the camera, this is Nina's ego. When you're with other people, it's a different ego. So we all have different egos, and that's part of our personality. That's part of the way that we protect ourselves.
Sorry, can I just interject? For me, that's not true, because you know me differently, you know me differently, and you know me differently, and I'm exactly the same. I'm exactly the same from the moment I wake up in the morning till I close my eyes at night. Maybe that's my problem, because I don't know how to be different around different people. Do you get what I mean? So there's not.
You know what, Nina? I can resonate to what you're saying, because I try to be the same socially, at work, in my yard. This is me. Like me or not like me. That's it. I'm done with pleasing people. This is me. Accept me, and this is what I'm about. And I'm like that at work. My boss is now. I will talk to the chief exec. I will talk to the cleaner. Don't do me nothing. I'm good. You do me something, I will bite back. That's me, socially or unsocially. So
can I just ask Ray to answer the question? If Ray could just answer the question, where do you feel your most authentic self?
You thought you got way in it.
My most authentic self is when I'm reasoning. That's my most authentic self. When I still being on that Fifth Avenue, great. You know, I've loved the journey, love everything else, but I'm more comfortable when Hollywood's doing that, because that's Hollywood. What you see with Hollywood is how Hollywood is on stage and off stage. He's that person that will talk. He will talk to you for an hour off stage. He will do all that. I'm not so comfortable just talking and just doing that straight off. This is why I kind of hide-ish, you know what I mean? I don't really want to be doing it. You know what I'm saying to you? I'm more comfortable when I'm reasoning with people who something with me and them clicks, and it's just having a reasoning session. You know what I mean? Really, and you can see the love there. You can see it's authentic. You can see it's real. You ain't gonna be judged. That kind of session to me, it's almost therapeutic. To be honest with you, you know what I'm saying to you? Going throughout your life, you kind of feel in certain aspects, and same for me that there is another face. You know what I mean? And that you're using that upper face. So when you can find time to just be real and just be yourself amongst people that you love and like you and like care for you, and you can see the care coming through, that is where I'm most happiest. You know what I mean? So yeah, I am happy playing out, and that I have to do it. Like Hollywood ain't there, so I have to do it. But it's not something he is still. If he's there, you can see he is always going to be more happier. That's him. That's just him. I am doing it, but I'm not comfortable that I want to be doing it. And it's funny.
I think I understand exactly what you mean in terms of you'd rather be in the background, and actually that is Hollywood's space up front, articulating everything about, you know, Mrs. Robinson from everything else he does, whereas you want to just be in your, not reclusive in every sense of the matter, but that reclusive person who just spins the music. I totally understand that. And I'm only joking. I don't find you standoffish, but that is probably how you might be perceived. Although Nina's saying yes, you are. I don't think you are. I don't think you are standoffish. It's where you feel comfortable. It's where you feel comfortable. I totally understand that.
Can I jump in with a question? I've been asking. Hold on, Kim, please. 1 second, Kim. 1 second. Can I just answer? I've asked a third time.
Oh, sorry.
The health issue. If you've had any challenges around your health.
I thought I did. I thought I discussed my mental health, physical health.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes,
so
yes, you did.
So yeah, you kind of missed that one, missed the interviewer. But if it's
no, but you haven't. You haven't answered that. You can come in.
Have I had any? Yes, I have had challenges. Anyway, no.
You're helping someone. It's not always about you, know.
It's not always about me, but you know, it's in some. Listen, I've gone through my stuff. I still, you know, I'm going through my stuff. So, I suppose in health about 2015, I kind of decided you look a bit too frumpy and whatever else. And one of my mates kind of had a heart attack, and he was someone who I looked at to say he shouldn't be having that at his age. You know what I mean? You know, and what he was doing. Just kind of like, well, you need to fix up. So I started going gym and stuff. You know what I'm saying to you? So my journey's been from 2015. I kind of started gym. I don't think I was 100. I don't think I was 70%. I just wanted to get. I never wanted to be muscle man. That muscle man thing wasn't there. I just wanted to be better than what I than what I was. You know what I mean? Because I wasn't really doing anything that was recreational in terms of fitness. Wasn't doing nothing. Just work, playing out. So then we did that. So I started on my journey. And I said, okay, cool. I'm liking this. Going gym 2-3 times a week, doing classes mainly because I can't motivate myself. I can't go into a gym and do it on my own. I'll be there chatting on the phone. I phone somebody or someone ring me or someone text me. I'll go on. I just ain't got that. You get me? Someone's got to be telling me what to do, and I need to be doing it for the time that I'm there, and I will get it done. So you're doing that, and then you get in there, and then I think it must have been the end of 2016. The end of 2016, kind of was a different thing for me. So at the end of 26, I got diagnosed with prostate cancer. So I had that to go through. Some people know, some people don't, because I don't really chat it. It's not something that I put out there and I talk. Basil knows, because I did come to Basil for a reasoning on that later on through my journey in terms of that. But so I had that, and so I was going through my things anyway. So even when I'm out, I'm going through my things. That's why I'm saying that. You know, it's something that you see someone and you think, oh, they're having a great time. I don't think I was having a great time at that time. To be honest with you, it's something that I've never, ever come to terms with. You know what I'm saying to you? So even though you have your day-to-day stuff and you're going through stuff, it's still not something that I'm comfortable with or being in that space. You know what I'm saying to you? So I had to that was a shock again to me. It's like, okay. So what did I do to get here? You know what I'm saying to you? So now you have to, what am I going to do? You know, I hate the doctor. I still hate him. You know what I mean? he gave me 3 scenarios to do. I hate the one that I chose. You know what I'm saying to you?
What was the 3 scenarios?
It was just 3 scenarios. Like you can either have treatment, so I think it's tablets.
Yeah.
And
You
then
could
one
do
is
nothing.
and then one is the chemo, and then the other one is the surgery. You know what I'm saying to you? So he gives you 3. You know, he gives you that. I wasn't in the best. I didn't have the infrastructure around me to kind of. From when I got diagnosed, 2 days after Christmas, I had the operation in about the first week of February, and I don't think there was people around me. I did get to talk to some people. There's some people that were really helpful at the time, but I think I chose how I chose to deal with it. I think that I did rush into it. You know what I mean? I felt that I needed more time for me to deal with it. You know what I'm saying to you? So as a consequence, I play. You know, I'm still fighting that. You know what I mean? There are some people that I talk to who have the same mindset. You know what I mean? And fuck, what did we do that for? Da, 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 da. You go through, but at the same time, I know I've got to live. So at the same time, you can't make that hold you back from living. You know what I mean? So you have to live. You know what I mean? So I have to put my mind and everything else, you know, I have to channel it on something else. Because if I look at that, the space I'm going to be in is not going to do me or anybody else around me any good. You know what I'm saying to you? So I still battle with that. That's still, in the mental, I still battle with that. On the health, I'm probably the best I've ever been. You know what I'm saying to you? I take it more seriously. The journey I've made from eating everything, or what I class as everything, every type of meat, every type of whatever else, didn't know what they were doing to my body, to now what I put in my body. You know what I'm saying to you?
Fasting now.
Fasting. You know what I'm saying to you?
Pampesi.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Go back and again, you know, it's a journey. It's an uncomfortable journey. You know what I'm saying to you? So you're still here battling with it. So my mental is not something that I'm gonna go and jump off a bridge anytime soon or nothing like that. Like that's nothing. It's not that deep. But I battle with myself. I still ask myself the same some questions. You know what I'm saying to you? Still unhappy about certain things. You know what I'm saying to you? But I need to, you know, it's something that I need to get over it. You know what I mean? And just
Part of the struggle.
Yeah. But it's just it's still a struggle. That's right. It was still a struggle. You know what I mean?
My last question before I pass over to everybody else is around, because Ray, I've known you for a while. We've been away, Spain, St. Lucia, Portugal. I've seen you dance. I've seen you let your hair down. We was with Mikey in Portugal, and we're having shots.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's why it's not good to judge a book by its cover, because in all that time, I never knew what you just shared there. You know what I'm saying? So I'm seeing you as that happy-go-lucky, laughable, talented, Superman-looking guy that everybody loves. But you're dealing with some internal, deep stuff. You know what I'm saying? That I can only just, imagine, like, going through what I see my mom going through with the stroke that she just had, with the COVID and the lungs collapsing. I know what all of that looks like, sickness, you know what I'm saying? So you going through it, I know a lot of other guys that are going through these kind of things.
Do you know something, man? Practically everyone has their shit. Everyone has something that they go through. So as much as you can look at the next person and we can all do it and think, yeah, they ain't got no stresses, they ain't got no worries. We all have our inner demons and we all have our worries. And the challenge in life is just learning how to come to terms with it and accepting it and making the most out of every opportunity. That's really the challenge, but there's no one without a challenge. Life isn't like that. Even Prince Harry, Prince Charles, and all of that, everyone
Challenges,
yeah.
You ladies, you want to come in, Scotty?
Yeah, I mean, similar. I mean, I've sat down with Ray for some reasonings and so forth, and hearing these stories, it's making me reflect on. You can see a man's face, but you don't know his eye. You don't know what man goes through, what a person is going through. the pandemic, what people are going to isolation, throwing our own personal kind of challenges. As Basil said, you know, we've all got stuff going on. I think what Ray and Nina have said today, it's just made me realize, as a human being, I think we just need to be a bit more kind to people in relationships and be more understanding, because we don't know what people are going through, and we can't just, because we have a pattern of relating in relationships, relate to them in a certain way. So as people are saying, most people might see Ray and they might think that he's this standoff guy. They don't know what Ray's, they don't know what he's dealing with. They don't know actually, because I want to try and actually help and please people. I'm going to play music on this set today. I don't know what I'd like to go, like what Nina's saying these days. She has their challenges where I'm questioning myself, should I go in front of this live and so forth? But, you know, and they do it because there's something inside them that gives. And I think just hearing them today, all that's kind of reinforced for me from a therapeutic mind is that I think in relationships, we just need to be a bit more understanding and kind.
Well said, Scotty. I'm just going to talk on the back of that. Everyone's got their own story. And like Ray, Nina, everyone's been through shit. And just what Scotty's saying, these are the what can I say? The uncomfortable talks that we need to be having with our young ones, so that they can see that they can overcome, whether it be, you know, they need to invest more in themselves, self-care wise, because health reason wise, what you're doing to yourself in your younger years plays a big part in your elder years. Do you understand where I'm coming from? And like we've just been saying, you don't know people's story. So when you see certain people, you don't know what's going on with them. So yes, just what Scotty's saying, be kinder, be more compassionate, show a bit more empathy. You understand what I'm saying, where I'm coming from? And try and see with the person. You might not agree with them, but see with the person more. And be true to yourself.
Just on the back of what you're saying, I think that humility and that compassion, one must learn to show that to themselves first.
Yes.
So one must learn to have compassion for themselves, reflective space for themselves, and then they become and they know themselves a bit more. And that way you don't feel like you have to please people, because you spend time with self and you understand yourself a bit more, what your triggers are. You understand what some of your drivers are. And it just gives you that sense of, I am reaching that place of self-actualization where I am becoming the best version of me. So hats off to Ray and Nina. Basil, I didn't really get a chance to, well, I don't know if Milo had a chance to really kind of explore some of the topics with you. But I just want to say, because I've got to leave, I've got to turn my hand to something else in a minute.
Yes, we are wrapping it up soon. It's coming up to 10 o'clock.
No, hold on.
Everyone for sharing.
I'm here every week.
I just wanted to say thank you for everyone for sharing. Milo, I'm going to pass it back over to you.
Yeah, we're gonna wrap up soon, but I just wanted to explore. We talked about self-care, we talked about healthcare. I just want to finish off with about the wealth care. You both are entrepreneurs, both got great vision for yourselves, for your families, and you serve the community with your gifts and your talents. What does wealth look like to you, and what struggles have you maybe experienced on your journey to creating wealth that you could share? This platform, the aim of this platform is to inspire, educate, and inform listeners and our community to protect our mental health, prevent mental ill health, and promote interventions like Scotty, like organizations, like companies like Basil, to help with our holistic well-being. Yeah. So everything that you share, people will take from the stories, the things that you've had to experience. they will be inspired by it. They'll be educated. They'll be informed. And so that's the aim of this platform. The 6 weeks, this podcast short workshop, we want people to take away from the live life experiences. So you talked about self-care, you talked about healthcare, in terms about creating wealth, leaving a legacy. Ray, what's been your journey with your business, with your vision, focus for the future? What does that look like?
For me, that looks, maybe it's for the 9 to 5. I don't know. I'm in a job that I like doing, but I don't necessarily love doing it. You know what I mean? I probably love doing what I do as a hobby more. And if I love doing that more, it probably looks, you know, that I may, as Scotty may say, turn your hand to that more than doing the 9 to 5. So in terms of where I am with that, I'm in a great position. I ain't gonna lie. You know what I mean? You know, from the lockdown has been fine. You know, in terms of people are dying, so it's not fine, but it's fine on another level for me. You know what I'm saying to you? So in terms of where I looked at where the business needed to be going, in terms of who I needed to be part of it, what I needed to be part of it, opportunities I needed to take, people I needed to talk to, that network you need to grow to kind of help you grow as well. Because it's not just about what you bring to the table. You know, anybody that's coming to your table, you know, and that you bring to your table has to be able to bring a leg too. You get me? There's no free meal. This is not going to happen, and it's not going to push you. You know what I'm saying to you? So for me, I've been lucky enough to have them people around me where, if it's not been pushing me into one opportunity, I've been pushed into another. So I've been pushed into the crypto. You know what I mean? Like we talked to that. So look at the crypto opportunity, delve into that, and see what we can do with that. Sometimes you got to put your best foot forward, or you got to be brave. You know what I'm saying to you? Because the money in the bank is going to be the money in the bank. It ain't growing no interest. It ain't doing nothing for you. You know, you understand? So how can I invest that to make me invest, me grow? How can that be a part of that? So I've looked into that, jumped into that. With the event side of things, I must have about 7 events going to be happening, or you know, I've got 3 or 4 happening now. I've got another 3, 4 to come out and to push out. You understand? So for me, my vision is manifesting. You know what I mean? In terms of the opportunities that are growing, and what I'm going to be there for me. Not all of them is going to work, maybe not. But the fact of the matter is, I'm now more focused on that as a business than I was before I went into the lockdown. You know what I'm saying? I'm more on a stable footing. I'm more on a stable platform. You get me? Which everything was zeroed back. Everything was zeroed back when this pandemic happened. So if you were sitting on your ass for 16 months and then you're going to come out of it and still sit on your ass for another 6 months to wait until let's see what's happening, then more fool you. Yeah, you understand? Because I've spent the 16 months trying to get my business in order. So when I'm coming out of it, I'm coming out of here sprinting. I ain't coming out of here walking or sitting down waiting on anybody else to make it happen for me. And my team, we're going to make it happen. You know what I'm saying to you? And it's been happening, and it is happening.
Jeez.
You understand? So
I feel the Holy Spirit, brother. I feel the tingles.
Oh.
Tingles in the studio.
You've got to put it in.
Yeah, no, but you know something, Ray. I always say, yeah, that there's 3 types of people. There's those that make things happen. There's those that watch things happening.
People wonder what the hell just happened.
And exactly, yeah. So at the end of the day, you are someone that makes things happen, and that's your truth. And all you're doing is actually, the more you walk in your truth, is the stronger you become. And at some point, when you decide that, you know what, this is actually what I was put on the planet to do, and your time is limited, and you really start to live that truth, yeah, you'll find that from out of the woodwork, the opportunities are just going to start coming, you know. So it's only a matter of when you're ready to do that, to make that step. But, you know, you've got what it takes, so you need to do that.
My daddy always says it like this: when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And right now, you're ready in it for destiny, and you're attracting the right people. That's what legacy is about. You know, finding your purpose, getting on the right path with the right people, being productive, prospering, being good health, create wealth, and leave a legacy.
And like, you know what? Before I'm to Nina, it's also championing people who haven't got a platform to talk about their legacy.
That's right.
That
what
as
this is
well
about.
gives you a drive. It gives you a purpose. You know what I'm saying to you? Because when people think it's all about you, it isn't, because people created this space for you to operate in. You know what I'm saying to you? And if they should be champions. So, you know, I hear Nina saying, you know, like when she says, I feel uncomfortable about that. Yeah, and I feel uncomfortable about that. But you shouldn't. Because when people give you your flowers, you know you've earned it. Yeah, take it. Yeah, stand up. Yes. Yeah, you're right. Thank you very much for that. I'm glad you've seen that. I'm glad you've seen the work that I put in. I'm saying to you, so that's how to me that I take it now. You know what I mean? Whereas before it's like feeling uncomfortable with it. You know what I mean? And like, yeah.
You know what? You know what it is, right? It's where you're growing. It's where you're growing as a person, for your body, mind, and soul, spiritually. You're growing. So that, I said this to Nina earlier on, where you're, I won't say putting yourself down, but you need to embrace that, baby girl. You understand what I'm saying? Because you're on a spiritual journey. And I'm telling you now, everybody that's listening, whether they've got business or not, it's inspirational. So embrace it and keep talking your truth. The both of you, keep talking your truth. Because somebody, even if just one person that's struggling hears what you're talking about, I'm saying to everybody, contact Legacy. Legacy can get hold of any one of us that have our teams, you know, but embrace it and keep talking, keep doing what you're doing, the pair of you. Thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah, Nina, thank you, Kim. But I'll just finish off with Nina. Nina, what is your plan or what you've been doing in terms of creating wealth on your road to success?
Do you know what? If I'm going to be honest, I don't think like that, and I never have thought like that. When it comes to doing stuff, I'm not driven by money, which might sound really ignorant or really naive, but it's not my driving force. I do what I do and I get paid for it, obviously. But I don't do it because of that. I do it because I really enjoy doing it. During the lockdown, I finally started studying for my degree in trichology. So it's because I love hairdressing, I wanted to take it all the way. So I wanted to know everything about hairdressing. And when I say everything about hairdressing, I mean everything about hair and scalp. So I'm studying to basically be a hair and scalp doctor, so I can diagnose problems and prescribe drugs and all that kind of stuff when it comes to hair loss and hair care. But in saying that, I thought that's what I wanted to do. I'm still going to complete it, but I don't know if that's what I'm going to end up doing, because I really don't know yet. Do you know what I mean? I really don't know. I know that I'm comfortable doing what I'm doing. I'm comfortable doing hair. I'm comfortable doing my social media. I'm comfortable doing all of those things. How I'm going to combine them to be ultimately happy, I don't know yet, because I haven't figured it out.
You see, money, when I say wealth, self-care, healthcare, wealth care, I don't relate just to money. I relate it to holistic prospering. Your mind is prospering, your soul is prospering, and your mind, your body, and your soul. Yeah. So it's like a triangulation of things that are happening. You know what I'm saying?
I think at the place that I'm at right now, if it is a triangle, I'm at the pinnacle, because I am where I want to be, or I'm getting to be where I want to be. You get what I mean? I haven't found what that one thing is that I want to do.
Yeah.
But my options are open, and it's the sky's the limit.
Nina, everyone's asking about your salon, because they won't come see you. They want their hairdos.
Where can they find you?
They can find us at number 34 Turnpike Lane, Platinum Hair Design. Turnpike Lane, 34 Turnpike Lane, Wood Green, N8.
Beautiful. How can people reach you and connect with you, Ray?
I'm all over social media. Facebook, Fifth Avenue Official. Instagram, Fifth Avenue Official, or vibes_fifth. Twitter, I'm on Twitch, I'm on Instagram, I'm on all of them. You can find me. Just put Fifth Avenue and Fifth Avenue Sweet Vibes or Fifth Avenue Hollywood, and you'll pick us up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, take a look and listen to their podcast as well. Set the trend.
Yes.
Set the trend.
And that's a very, very important podcast, you know.
Mm.
It's very important. I must take my hat off, because what that podcast has done, and I know that it's not by accident, it's by design. You've created a chronology that when our grandkids are looking back at what happened in the UK, it's there for everyone to see, you know. And I think that I really commend you on that, because, you know, oftentimes we get unnoticed, like what's happening within our community. So to be able to chronicle that, it's a big responsibility.
Yeah,
You're doing a good job.
Yeah, I mean, I've got to big up the team as well with that. You've helped us. That the idea was about 5 years old, to be honest with you. We only started doing it about 2 years ago. So it's something that we've always wanted to. We always was interested in doing it, but we didn't know how to do it. And then when we met up, like Jay became a part of that. Jay had a link in with certain of the, like, to film it and stuff. So we started going on that, and it's kind of gone from strength to strength. We didn't even think it would have gone where it's gone, because we was just looking at street sounds and the history about, you know, we just wanted to chronicle, you know, like the history of street sounds and the effect that that had on music in the UK. You know what I'm saying to you?
It's broader than that.
It's just got broader. It's just got broader than that.
Culture.
You know what I'm saying to you? Because there's so many people who's been a part of that. You know what I mean? There's so many that a DJ, promoter. You know, it's the people behind the scenes. You know what I mean? And there's men, there's women behind that. You know what I mean? You know, if you look at most of the street sounds, the number one thing that's been a driver throughout street sounds, and not sound system, as in your Saxons and your Coxons and your Shackers and all that, but street sounds has been the black woman. That when you look at, we wouldn't probably be where we were without that driver, because it's always been about that interaction with women. You know what I mean? Whether you're in a dance, whether you're having a dance, whether you're talking about people, it's you know, it's like a club that you come and socialize in. You know what I mean? And that story's yet to
it's yet to begin.
It's yet to be done. It's yet to
You know
be
why I concur with what you're saying? Owning clubs for the last 10 years, the early stages, it was the women that was running the bar. It's the women that are managing it. It's the women that are getting the stock. It's the women that manage. Like, I only trusted the women that God put in my life. You understand what I'm trying to say to you? Because I knew they just, even though they might not have had the experience, they were willing to learn. You know what I'm saying? They had ethics, they had drive, they had leadership. You know what I'm trying to say to you? So, you know,
let me tell you something. Yeah. You see, even lives, the women have been holding up the lives. It's not the men, them. You understand? Any sponsorship that goes on, anybody who's put anything up that they want money, I guarantee you, it's the women them that have been putting their money forward more than the man them to support your business. You understand? And I've seen that, and I know it because I know my analytics. What I look at, I know I talk to people about it. I know that when I go on people's live and I look about it, you know what I'm saying to you. And that story don't get told. So that's another story that has to be told. You know what I'm saying to you, and it shouldn't just be left there.
Big up, set the trend, and I just want to also make mention about St. Vincent. If you don't know what's happening in the Caribbean, please get to know. If you can support, donate, or find an organization, or just say a prayer for the people in St. Vincent. I want to big up a group of men called the Collective Gentlemen's Club. They've raised thousands of pounds in a couple of days, which were about getting ready to send to St. Vincent in terms of provisions and clothes and foods and stuff like that, of which myself and Raymond are a part of. There's about 120 black businessmen and entrepreneurs and community leaders, and we've taken matters into our own hands and we're supporting that. So please say a prayer for St. Vincent. As I said again, Basil, do you want to come in and say anything else?
No, I think it's all been said.
Yeah, Kim, do you want to come in and say anything else?
No, I'm just, like I said, this is something these shows are something that we need to be doing on a regular basis, because it reaches people. You understand? It educates people. It empowers people.
Beautiful.
Everyone's got their story. Nobody knows what everybody's story is, and somehow it does reach and resonate with people. So we need to keep on doing this. We need to keep on educating. We need to be uniting with each other, collaborating with each other, supporting each other. Our queens, we need to love our kings, and our kings, we need to love our queens, okay? And nurture our young ones, because you know what? Remember, this is about legacy. So
Yeah.
as much as you're improving your legacy, we are protecting our young ones' legacy. So
Thank
thank
you,
you
Kim.
again for sharing, and I'm just going to hand it back. Oh, I'm saying bye for Debbie as well. She said to say hello.
Yeah, definitely. Debbie Robinson, Scotty, our resident therapist, Kim Thompson, and Basil Links. Thank you for hosting, and our guest, special guest Nina Graywood and Raymond Banton. Thank you for your sharing, and thank you for your gift. You know, it's been really appreciated, and there's things I've learned that, you know what, it just changes our relationship in a more intimate way. So I thank you for sharing. And on behalf of the Struggle to Success team, we wish you all a great evening and see you next week. God bless. Good night.